Well, I'm trying. I don't know why it has to be sideways. I am trying. Let's see if this works. Oh, that does kind of work. Okay. Put this over here. And get my cursor. So, hello. Hi. Someone's saying hi. I gotta put my glasses on to see the comments. Let's see. Live chat. Oh, hi, Sandy and Paul. Hello, hello, hello. Well, this is not gonna do. Let's see. Oh boy. Well, if I sit back here, I guess it's gonna work a little bit. Okay. I forgot to look at this. I don't know why you have to be up this way, and my iPad doesn't really like that because my case is for a horizontal. Yes. Anyway, I'm on today because, well, a couple of reasons. I've started going live on Friday afternoons at 3 Eastern, just to talk. And, you know, I try to think of a different subject each week, and I think about it during the week. You know, what am I going to talk about on Friday, and you know, all kinds of things. So I've been carnivore for 7 years. Last week, when I was doing my live at 3, I told a lot of my history, and I don't really need to go back through that. If you want to watch last week's video, that would be great. But I've been carnivore for 7 years, so I have a lot of experience with trying different things. And this week I was going to talk about when carnivore isn't enough. Like you start carnivore because you have a certain health issue, and you try carnivore for 30 days and you didn't resolve that health issue. And so what else can you do? And first off, I'm going to talk about when you start carnivore. So maybe you've heard a lot of the testimonials that this is really bothering me. Maybe you've heard, let's see, would this work? Let's see. Oh, that might be better. Okay, I got my drink up there supporting the case. That works. Okay, so maybe you've heard some testimonials about health conditions that you think you might be able to get improvements on. And we have to be, I am a health coach. I am not a medical professional, and so I can't really give you advice. I have experience myself with trying different things when I've been carnivore, and so I'm just going to kind of go over what my experience has been, because I really can't advise you. I could tell you about other people. I could tell you about my experience, but that's about it. So, like I said, I've been carnivore for 7 years, and when I first started, it was 2018, and there wasn't a lot of information about carnivore back then. So we just, my husband was still alive then, and we just basically ate any kind of meat that we wanted, and meat and eggs and dairy. Any kind of dairy we wanted, any kind of meat we wanted, and any kind of eggs that we wanted. And at the time, we were buying all of our food from local farms. So we were buying like the best food that you could find from either a Maine or a New Hampshire farm. And we had really good results in the very beginning. But I want to talk today about what happens if you've got a certain health problem. Maybe you've heard somebody else's testimonial. I'm going to turn this light out just a minute. Maybe that's better. I think it's a little better. And you know, you wanted to try carnivore to get rid of your problem, whatever it is. And you do carnivore for a month, 2 months, maybe even 3 months, and you didn't get improvement in the very problem that you wanted to get improvement of. Or maybe you wanted to lose weight and you weren't able to lose any weight. You know, so you're like, well, now what do I do? And I think first thing to do would be to try to notice what your non-scale victories are. So on Steak and Butter Gang, they call it NSV, non-scale victories. And so what you do is you have to be really observant, like what else has happened that was really good. Like for me, in the first 6 months, the floaters in my eyes went away. Well, that's not why I went carnivore, but it was a nice non-scale victory. What else happened? And my ears were not painful on airplane flights anymore. So those were two things that they were amazing, right? And what else happened? I had really great energy. My confidence improved. My memory improved. Like I could recall things like series of numbers easier. I could go inside of a building and not get lost. I could find my car in a parking lot. I never thought of myself as having brain fog. What did they used to call me? Oh, they used to call me spacey or naturally stoned. That, you know, I was just kind of walking around in a daze. That's how I operated. And, you know, I don't really do that anymore. So those were things that happened. What else happened? I never get split ends anymore. I don't know if that's carnivore or not. I think it is. I just never get split ends anymore. When I was younger and had long blonde hair, I had terrible split ends. So I think that's really cool. And I think that comes from avoiding seed oils and eating animal fats, because it's the same thing with being able to tolerate more sun exposure. Like you don't get burned as easily, you just get tanned, and that's definitely from no seed oils. Now, I've actually been off of seed oils since 2003. Because that's when I became a raw vegan, and as a raw vegan you can't use any kind of oils except for extra virgin olive oil, because it's the only real raw oil. So, you know, that was a cool thing because, you know, it got me off of seed oils. But anyway, so I just recently had an experience with the Lion Diet for 2 months. Let's see if there's any other comments. I don't think there is, because they would have come up. Oh, there is. Why weren't they showing? Okay, let me read the comments. Oh, hello. What? Don't go away. Oh, why does it do that? Okay. Sorry. Live chat. It's my birthday. Jeff, happy birthday. All right. YouTube could improve their comment section. Oh, that doesn't work. Wait a minute. didn't do that before. I'm gonna have to just hold it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna hold it. So I just finished doing the Lion Diet for January and February, and I did really well. I did not have the results exactly that I was hoping for. I didn't get to reduce my insulin as much as I had thought I would. So I'm type 1 diabetic, and I've reduced my insulin down to like 10 or 12 units. It's been really great for me, but so I'm always trying to experiment to see if I can get it reduced even more. And so that was my purpose of doing. And I I liked the Lion Diet okay, but I was really bored because I was just eating just beef and water, and I was really missing eggs and bacon and butter. So March 1st, I started back on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And that's really telling because I had gas pains the first couple of days, and I didn't know what it was from because I had added back in butter and eggs and bacon all on the same day. So I wasn't sure why I was having, wasn't really a tummy ache, it was just kind of an uneasy feeling in my gut. So I knew that I was sensitive to something that I was eating. So I had gone to the store and I'd bought some bacon. So when I finished the bacon that I had bought, I did without it for a few days. And well, I will say the gassy feeling in my stomach didn't last all that long. It just was in the first day, so I couldn't really tell what had caused it. It was might have just been the change in the food I was eating. I don't know. But if you make a change, I mean, part of what I wanted to talk about today is when you have an issue and you've tried carnivore and it didn't go away, it's time to do some self-experimentation. And some people are afraid to do that, and they're always asking questions on YouTube Lives for different channels, and people ask questions that they could easily figure out on their own, and everybody is a little bit different. So people were asking questions like, how much is too much salt, or can you drink too much water, or questions that you could just say, well, let me try that today. Look, I'm going to up my salt and see how I feel, or I'm going to use less salt and see how I feel, or I'm going to eat more fat and see how I feel. Because everybody's a little bit different, and what works for one person may not work for another person. I have someone in my group who really can't stomach eating a high-fat carnivore diet. She feels much better on like not low fat, but definitely not high fat. She just doesn't feel good on it. So she's gone to lower fat, and she's feeling better. You've got to be willing to experiment on yourself a little bit to find out what works best for you. And that's what I do. I'm actually when I went to the store to buy more bacon, because I didn't finish telling you this. So I tried a few days with no bacon. I was just eating eggs by themselves, and actually I was feeling pretty good about it. And then I was really missing bacon, so I went to the store, and bacon was the cheapest bacon in the whole store was $6.49 a pound, and I'm like, man, that's expensive. And then I saw that they had pork belly for $3 a pound, so I bought some pork belly and brought it home. Now pork belly, I had it the first time. I cut some slices off of it and cooked it in my air fryer, and it was good, but it just tasted like a pork chop. It was definitely not bacon. It was not as much fun as bacon. So, that was a lesson. And also, since I went from Lion to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, I've gained 3 pounds. It's not a bad thing because I was probably too thin anyway, but I don't want to keep gaining. So it's like, that's why I weigh every day, because I just want to keep track of if I'm gaining or losing too much weight, because I have gotten too thin before too. So if I wasn't weighing myself, that wouldn't be good, because I had gotten too thin and then I get weak. After gaining the 3 pounds, I was actually feeling stronger in my exercises this morning. So, I mean, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. And my clothes aren't tight because they're big on me anyway. So, anyway, but I just think that some people don't weigh every day, and they maybe once a month. But in a month, if you're maybe eating too much, or you're not eating enough, or you're not sleeping well, you're doing something and it's making you gain weight, but you didn't realize it because you don't weigh yourself, well, I think you could probably do better. I'm always surprised when people say they start carnivore and they've gained a bunch of weight. It's like, okay, if you see that you're gaining more weight, do something different. Figure out if you're not eating enough. Sometimes that can make you gain weight because your body holds on to all the weight you put in it, because you are signaling that you're starving if you're not eating enough. So some people gain weight from not eating enough. Some people gain weight when they're actually eating too much, and some people gain weight if they have lots of stress, or if they aren't sleeping well, which is a form of stress on the body. If their thyroid is messed up, it can cause to gain weight. Certain medications can cause you to gain weight. So there's a lot of different reasons that you might be having different results that you think you ought to be having. I'm watching my time because I'm going to go get a car battery in a few minutes. And I think I know what was causing my tummy upset after I went back on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, because I thought it would be fun to drink decaf every day. And I think that was actually making like my bladder hurt a little bit. And I was like, this almost feels like a bladder infection, but no, it doesn't. And I think either it was from drinking decaf every day, or it might have actually been that I was a little bit dehydrated, because I feel great today. It was just last night and this morning I was having a little bit of, like, when it's just before you get a bladder infection. That's what it felt like. But I didn't, and I feel great now. I'm holding this up with one hand, and I drink some water. Oh, let me see if there's any more questions. And, right. Okay, let's see. Oh, my glasses on. Okay, here we go. Live chat. Okay. Oh, hello. Okay, no more. Okay, those are the ones I've already seen. So, let's see. Well, I was just telling you how I figured out certain things. When you add a food and you don't react to it well, you can probably look back over the last few days and figure out what it is. And that's always really good. And I actually think that I feel better on the lion diet, and I don't feel bad on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. I'm feeling fine. I do have to take more insulin when I'm on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, but not a lot, maybe like 1 unit more. So I want to be aware of that. Um, but since I didn't lower my insulin as much as I thought I would on Lion Diet, then, maybe it's not worth it if I'm so sad. I don't have like any kind of an intense reaction to different foods that, I don't tend to like chicken or fish, um, or I don't really like turkey. And I don't really like pork that much, except I do love bacon. And the pork belly has been okay. It's not great. I did cut up small pieces of it and put it in the air fryer today, and that was very good. That was really good. So there's different things you can do with it. Um, I have not gotten my spring butter yet from my farmer, and I will feel more happy about butter when I do that, because when I buy, there's just not any butter that I really like at the stores that are here in my town. We don't have a Whole Food. There is, my favorite butter that you can get at a store is at Whole Food, and it's called Lewis Road, and it's from New Zealand, and it's really delicious butter. So if I was, but I've been buying Kate's butter at Hannaford in Maine. So Kate's is a local Maine company. I don't know how far out they go, but it's a pretty good butter. But and I think it's mostly grass fed. I'm not really even sure, but just looking at my list because it feels like I forgot about something I wanted to talk about. So I'm rambling a little bit because I think maybe something will come up. Maybe I will remember something that I wanted to talk about. But I really think mostly it was mostly it was what I'd already talked about, how after you try something on the carnivore diet, do it for long enough so that you can see whether you're getting good results or not. And so what else you can do is, there's a lot of, if you go on YouTube and you can just search carnivore diet, or you can search the certain issue that you're having trouble with and carnivore. So say you, I don't know, let's see, you have a symptom that you want to look up, so just put the name of the symptom and carnivore in your search, and you might get a testimonial from somebody who had the exact same problem. There's a lot of carnivores that are talking on YouTube about if you haven't been able to lose weight on carnivore, what you can do, what you can change, different things like that. So search in your search engine on YouTube, and then you can also ask questions from AI and see if you can get any answers from AI, like we're all doing, right? But also look at the different groups. Now, Kilt's Mighty Tribe, Dr. Kilt's has a group that is free, and it's a really good community, and they have a lot of coaches. That's where I got my coaching certification. Was through Kilt's Health. So you can join that for free and just go to whichever meetings you want to go to because it's free. And then Steak and Butter Gang, that one is $30 a month, and it's really good, and they have a lot of visiting doctors to do question and answers, and it's a good community. I've never been on healinghumanity.life. I think that's what it is, and I believe it's also $30 a month, but I think your first month is half price. And it seems to be a really good community that people really enjoy. And they have visiting doctors and different kind of meetings. And and on Steak and Butter Gang and on Healing Humanity, they have a sugar and carb addiction call, both of those. And who else? Dr. Chafee has a group. Um, who else has a group? And it's good to join a group. Now for me, because I do group coaching, so I have a group, and it's a small group. So I just sit here in my kitchen and I do a Zoom with everybody on Thursday nights at 7. That's the time we're doing it now. So it's just it's the 20th already. So it's just a few more days until you have to renew, or you get to renew at the beginning of every month. So April's coming up. So if you want to join my group, we call it Brisket Boomers Community. So, and we have a Zoom call, and we have a WhatsApp group where we share stuff, videos and ideas and shorts and pictures of our food and questions. And you basically have me with 7 years experience. And actually, this year, I've been very low carb for 30 years. So I found very low carb through Dr. Bernstein in 1996. And then I went keto in 2010. So I've been 20 grams of carbs or less since then. And so now I'm like no carbs. But it was actually interesting because the last week I did 3 days of a fat fast. I don't know if you listened last week. If you did, I told all about the fat fast. I did fat fasting with mostly eggs and butter and heavy cream. And I didn't realize, but by the end of the day, I had actually eaten 20 grams of carbs through eggs and cream, heavy cream. So we tend to think of the carnivore diet of being a zero carb diet. And when you eat only meat, it is. But when you add eggs or some dairy, you're adding carbs. So that's something to be mindful of. So I'm wondering if anybody has any questions at all, because I'm going to get ready to go to get my car battery. My son is coming to pick me up. And next week I'm going to be in New York City visiting my other son. So that will be fun. And yeah. So I will, if I'm still there by Friday, I will be doing next week. Happy Friday, that's what I say. Happy Friday, TGIF. Do something fun with somebody you love tonight. Right. So I'll be, if I do any lives next week, it'll be from New York City. And if you want to join my group, you can leave me a comment here, or you could look me up on Instagram or Facebook at Amy Fields Perrin, AIMEEFIELDS PERRIN on Instagram and on Facebook. And you can message me or DM me and just let me know you're interested, and I will give you the scoop. So anyway, let's see, is there anything else I don't think so. But if you want me to discuss something about the carnivore diet or type 1 diabetes or anything, let me know. Leave a comment, or get a hold of me on Instagram and say, why don't you do a live about this, and I can prepare one. So that would be really awesome. And you guys, I'd love to have you in my group. Let me know if you're interested, and be good, eat meat, and love everybody. Bye-bye. let's see, here it is.